Guten Morgen. It's George Lee's, and just to show you that I'm serious about my videos being banned, yet because it's telling the truth about how the world was won in all the great conflicts and how Hitler was the first cousin of the Queen of England through the bloodlines. This and even my Harry Enfield videos on Don't Do That, that is a joke by Harry Enfield and Jimmy Hill and all the fascist Austrian nobility that are like Jimmy Hill. They have the massive Habsburg chins, and there is one there with a massive Habsburg chin. Yeah, and they're all over the town at the moment, and particularly since I released the video on the Shin, and that is the Bush relatives that fled from Europe in 1937 with Joseph Mengele, with Scorzerny, who was supposed to have been Hitler's assassin, and he got out with Mengele and Martin Bormann, and Bormann is the man that is alleged to have the massive treasures from the war, and all of that is now into Latin America, initially into Spain, and I believe that this video, which I want to archive, and I'll give the credits to the person that has made it, but look at the likeness of that man to Harry Enfield. Yeah, and that's why Harry Enfield's buffoonish videos have been published, and he will be in the bloodline somewhere, close up by the looks of things. Right then, and there is the nose on the other side. If you look to the left, oh no. How do we get that on? It's not actually capturing. If I make it slightly smaller, yeah, there's the nose. Yeah, that massive cleft on the top, all of it descending from the piezo template. And this is where I found this video from, because if you go to this, let's try out my new computing systems. So if you go to this picture, I looked for Hitler's, for the topics that my mate Greg Hallett used to want to talk about with the whole world, and used to sell those books on those topics. Now they're all totally decrepit, and I believe the folk that have bought the books are now in immediate danger. Yeah, there it is. So there is the topic that I'm looking at now. I found it. Well, let's just sit down and relax. So watch for the pointer moving around, and I'll show you where I found this video. Oh God. So there is my pointer, and there is the Andreas, there it is, on the right hand side, pages 116 to 117. Andreas Kronstadt, yeah, that's spelt like Stad, yeah, Hitler's doppelganger in Prague, okay, and when I went there, that is how I got the pages on the doppelgangers for Hitler, and let's just show you what Hitler looks like, and I'll play the video through to where they attempted to assassinate him, and you'll see how complicated everything becomes. And Greg used to tell us the stories about Saddam Hussein and how his execution was faked up too, and the real Hitler was actually a Rothschild cousin, and there's an analysis of his massive ears. Let me show you again. So there's the nose, and that's all that how Ian Fleming helped Hitler to get out of the bunker and into through the River Spree tunnels yeah, and murdering all of those people that were drowned, yeah, when the yellow submarine passed through. Yeah, and there is now the nose on the left for Hitler and the frontal view of Harry Enfield. Yeah, no wonder they're banning my videos. Okay, and the Habsburg chins are all around, and it looks as if it might be a prison camp. So, let's just listen to the video, and if anything's pertinent, I will comment on it. They are gonna reveal that the analysis of the ear size is really important on this, and we now understand why Prince Charles, yeah, the son of Hitler's cousin, full cousin, that is Queen Elizabeth II, through the Rothschild semen, and the massive links to Winston Churchill, they're all in the same lineage. He's his cousin too, if that is the real one. Yeah, and it tells you in the video how they execute him. Have a listen.
Vienna. He looked so much like Hitler. No one knew if it was really him, or double, or what. But someone took a picture, and it was posted in all the newspapers.
Harry Enfield, don't you think? It pauses a little, and the website is called Fostia.
Mr. František Hola.
Okay, Fostia, and that suggests that that could be also the Fausts that were married to Marcus Aurelius and who are now the bosses at Harvard University. And Drew Faust is the female boss at that massive university that Bill Gates went to but did not qualify.
He was a Czech train conductor. He looked so much like Hitler that Hollywood offered him a part to play Hitler. And the German soldiers would take a picture with this guy and send them home to their wives and girlfriends and tell them that they took a picture with the Fuhrer. Classic. Operation Valkyrie. The plot to kill Hitler.
So Greg Hallett covered all of this ground. He covered with his pictures that have now been taken down from the website and his massively long and impressive videos, all of his pictures of the Valkyrie assassinations and the involvement of Tom Cruise is the actor who plays the innocent man that tried to prevent his murder. Or to try to murder him so that he could be rid of him, but because he's a Rothschild and a Windsor cousin, that becomes rather an outsider prospect. Long odds, and that is the von Stauffenberg characters, and his woman is totally evil in that, and her body double came into the pub, the Fleming bar in Dundee, and that is Ian Fleming, that is the mastermind behind all of these plots. And the sun's gone in. Right then, so off we go.
July 20th, 1944. Hitler found out about this plot. Whether there was intuition or the SS or spies, he knew.
And can you see his mark of the Legion badge that takes you right back? It's on his left left tit. Oh no, it's on his sleeve, and that is the eagle for Rome. Yeah, and all of them descend from the Roman leadership team, and it's quite evil really. That is Faust and Faustina, the names of the wives and children of Marcus Aurelius.
So instead of going to the meeting, he sent one of his doubles, with someone who looked closely like him, his stenographer, Heinrich Bergner. to weed out who was there, and that was the only way. So the bomb goes off. Gardner is injured. He died 2 days later. So Count von Stauffenberg, thinking he killed Hitler, the rest of the officers went on with a plan to take over Germany. It wasn't Hitler. It was a double. And they all gave themselves up. This is how they got caught. And what's further here, dated August 27th, 1944, so more or less a month after the bomb plot against Hitler's life. Hitler was shown decorating Rex's leader, Leon de Grelle of Belgium. Problem: the British Secret Service had this picture analyzed using the ear test.
Eat your heart out, Prince Charles. Yeah? Wing nuts. Like you and your children. Yeah? And that is the legitimate claimants to the throne. All cousins, and none of them knows how many body doubles there really are. Yeah, that those are Prince Charles and Prince Harry's ears. Oh no, sorry, they are not Prince Charles's children, and that's why Hitler, who is the cousin of the mother of Prince Charles, yeah, has the same ear structure. Intriguing, isn't it? And it's well worth some scientific investigation. And he's got the Pizzo nose.
I found out law enforcement, when they can't use fingerprints for some reason or other, use the ears as identification. So this is what the British did. And in this picture, and previous pictures of Hitler, the British said this guy, decorating the Grelle, is not Adolf Hitler, but yet another double. Now compared to the previous video, remember, keep your eye on his nose and his right arm and hand. Hitler in 1944 was allegedly almost incapacitated. The bomb should hit a number on him, which is right hand.
So there is Hitler was a British agent by the now disappeared Greg Hallett, or paid off Greg Hallett. I doubt that that will be the case. He was ballistic, he was right up in their faces, and his research is peerless, and his photographic archive is just as good as the man that we're listening to now. Okay, so this is how they get. The real body double died within 2 days of von Stauffenberg's attempts to take over the country with a real German claimant, in inverted commas. Yeah, because remember, this one is out of the Alois Hitler Rothschild bloodline, and they're now telling us that that will be the English people that are Lionel Nathan Rothschild, but that, I believe, it is the Austrian emperor that is Salomon Rothschild of Vienna. Yeah, and all of them, it's all by that raping methodology, and the lineages are all carved out, and the relatives are all named, and that is even in those videos on Stuart Houston Chamberlain, and the word Houston in war crimes context is absolutely sordid. Yeah, same as Lawrence and all the inquest chairs that were, yeah, part of the massive Aintree Liverpool complex that I've already described in recent videos. Okay, 1st of May, most significant day in political, occult, social engineering calendar. But let's get back to Harry Enfield and the reason why they are now embarrassed by all of these images. Do you get him making that video on, yeah, you don't want to do that, Jimmy Hill, yeah, and you don't want to be someone who's prepared to analyse the outcome of the football match. Yeah, and that is really the cover for the stammering King George VI being the victim by Joyce Grenfell of being accused in her schoolboy parodies. Yeah, she says to one of her children in her class, yet she's not playing the St. Trinian policewoman, and all of her is the cover for the Morgan Grenfell banking group that is now the recent false news for all of the media men. And the sun's turning down on us again today, and the beautiful blue skies are back. Yeah, all of it makes perfect sense, and there is his wingnut ears from the rear. Oh sorry, we're on the wrong thingy. Okay, American self-sabotage, that's 9/11 on the index for Greg Hallett. Hitler was a British agent. 9/11, and that is on page 388 of the box set, and that is American self-sabotage on 9/11, another Pearl Harbor. And it's the same template to steal from all of the world's people. That means all of their income stream, all of their pay rises, and all of their prospects of living to a longer age. Yeah, all of it is the steal by the world's richest people, and that is the Committee of 300, and that's Ed Balls and all the world's most decrepit people. He gets to be on the news every night. There are no genuine analysts, because all of them are out of this bloodline. Right then, I want to archive the video, and I would like to see what the Harry Enfield body double is introduced as. We were just a little bit too early for that bit of the story. Okay, so we'll go back to that. I'll find out who the author is.
O chefe das unidades valãs, Léon de Grelle, foi condecorado com a Cruz de Cavaleiro.
Those of you here who have studied the hermetic sciences and are familiar with the works of Master Franz Garden may recall in the book Bravado, it was said that after the war, Master Garden used his abilities.
So he's a Freemason, and that's how they get the whole of the global network is run. I've just reminded myself this morning that one of the world's leading Freemasons is a man called Danton, and that is the fleeing of the real Danton, yeah, from France into America, and then eventually his actor Depardieu flees into Russia as a tax exile. And I was going to tell you about the George VI thing. So what Joyce Grenfell says is, George, don't do that. And she repeats it several times, and that is her telling the stammering king not to go to war. And that is why Harry Enfield, who was possibly Hitler in the war, or one of the body doubles bloodlines, yeah, and that is dozens of them get created using the prima nocte method, and the poor people, it becomes their only income stream, or the only way of keeping their job is to get sired by one of the real Rothschild family members that are Alois Hitler, and all of the women are still in Dundee, and it's quite amazing how the New World Order are prepared to pay for all of that, but they own now the whole world, and they're pretending that they're launching devices that will allow them to take over the whole universe, God. I don't know what you would think about that. So the number for the lodge is 99 lodge. That's Adolf Hitler was a member of 99 lodge. Apart from that, Hitler and some of his intimate friends were members of the Thule Order. That is the evil thing. And I actually bought a Thule container to lock onto the top of my car to carry our possessions the last time I was able to take a holiday. Yeah, and it was junked, yeah, out of my garage, because I'm not allowed to be in my own home. Yeah, and I do not miss it, because I now understand the meaning of the Thule Order, and all of them are occultists, and they keep the world at fear, yet using the Grimm Brothers stories. Right then, so let's just keep going.
You see that Hitler had some kind of surgical procedures done on his face so as not to be recognized, so he could escape. The sun may sound ridiculous still, but I just happened to find this. Just think about it.
November 1944,
The
Hitler.
officers
So this is
tried to
plastic
murder you.
surgery on him.
Game's over. What is it? Get surgery on his throat? Or did he take it further? Julia Schreck, early party member, friend of Hitler, first leader of the SS, and Hitler's personal chauffeur in the early days. Well, it was one day.
And I think we've got a Shrek in the cartoon characters. Harry Enfield, congratulations on your magnificent career with Jimmy Hill and your analysis of the football clubs. Yeah, and the banning of all of my world-owning bloodline videos because of your buffoonery and the ownership of the BBC of the whole of the false news sector.
Hitler decides he wants to drive. Of course, as luck would have it for Hitler, but not for the other guy. Shrek was killed by an assassin.
And you may remember that Shrek, like Adolf and Prince Charles, has wingnut ears. Yeah, and that is the comedy. Oh no, I think he has little dainty ones. And is green, not a white man.
Now, some stories say he died of meningitis.
And the Scherf family are what became the Bushes.
And then some stories say he was in a car crash. The only ones I found is it was an assassin's bullet at him. It was kind of covered up so as not to get any bad press in the party. He was buried with war honors. They say Hitler even cried. I did learn something though. Using the air test that the British did in 1944 to weed out Hitler's double, why not use it?
So there is the oak leaf for the pagan cult, and that's what these sad bastards are. Everything that is the rivals in false religion and in the grabbing of land that belonged to the pagans, they are culled, and that is the saddest part of the whole of world history. We can never get them back. Yeah, and for them it's the huge joke that is the oak tree for St. Boniface and the launch of Christianity under the Pi pyramidal pine, and that is the meaning of life for all of the sad bastards.
From the pictures that I already have, and compare the ears to all the photos. So I started with this one. This one is Shrek and Hitler. Look at Hitler's ear to the sign. Hitler and von Hindenburg. So as you can see, this Hitler is the same one that was in the car with Shrek. An older photo of Hitler. Comparing the ears again, these are the same guys, but this one's a tad bit older. Doing the ear identification is not as easy as it sounds. I believe there's a variation in the right ear and the left ear. I'm not sure, but it takes skill, something I don't have. So maybe you guys can help me out with a few of these that you're going to see later on. Here's another older picture of Hitler. What do you think?
So remember that there are dozens of body doubles, and Greg proclaimed that, and even body doubles for Eva Braun. They were all found dead in the bunker. Her body doubles had bad teeth, and all of that was in his images, and it's just amazing. And I now want to make sure that I give credence to the people that have made this. And I'll take you back and find out what Harry Enfield's lookalike is doing in the story. So there he is coming in, and there's the little bits that I was watching. So, no, let's get the credit for who is the speaker and what is the title of the body double. So it's Hitler's doubles. Which one is the real Hitler? And the name of the website or the broadcast is Fostia. Remember, that is the ancient bloodlines for the world owners and the women of Marcus Aurelius. And there we begin to get the pictures of the evidence, and you can watch it for yourself if it's not blocked. The best way to get the real credit for that is to take it to low resolution, and it's called Hitler's doubles. Which one is the real Hitler? And I just wish that there was a little bit of text. The builder Kevin McNaught, published on 27th of November 2014. Yeah, but there's no introduction, there's no statistics on how many body doubles there were, and so I'll now just play it and we'll see Harry Enfield
coming. Because, the time you have to work, chores, home, family. So I would buy a picture here, an article there, a story here, all original, every so often when I could have.
And I think that's Martin Bormann, and I think he might have been the one that had one ball, and all of that was explained by Greg Hallett before he died. Yeah. The monkey on Hitler's back and all the occultist stories. Yeah, let's go.
For it. So this year is when I finally put everything together. Everything that I needed. All the forensics, x-rays, teeth, and the witnesses, and everything. The reason this video was broken up into 4 parts is, along with my research, I found a bunch of other things that were of interest. So I just had to add them. One was, Hitler had doubles. And I believe he had more doubles than he ever imagined. The second thing I found is the Nazi space program. Now, the historians say, the mainstream historians say, they were confused with the V2 weapons and merging up with some sort of space program.
That's the doodlebugs, and they made me sleepless as a child, just thinking back at how all of this kills every innocent person. And that River Spree story that Greg Hallett told was the murder of all of those people that were using it as an air raid shelter, and that is the submarine that came to be, the Beatles and all the massive terror things and all the body double replacements for Paul McCartney. Yeah, and that's the McCartneys of Liverpool that are massive all across the British Empire.
And that is all wrong. Nazi Germany had a space program that would make anything we have today in 2014 look like a high school science project. Third part, Adolf Hitler's involvement.
Yeah, there's the swastika, the 4 limbs, yeah, and that is the Rotary Club icon, Stephen Andrew Hancock, you dimwit.
And the occult. I mean, seriously, dark magic. This guy was a full-fledged black magician. And the last part, part 4, is the main story of his escape. I can't say where he went, where he died. I can say with 100% certainty he wasn't in a bunker. You won't just hear my opinions or, theories. You're going to see forensics, deep.
So that image was Eva Braun, not in her little blue dress, but they were alleged to be married in the last few days in the bunker. And she was a professional photographer, which is why he has so many images around his life. And the road, so this is that the lodge is 99, and the road to his residence in Bavaria, Hitler's Nest, was 999. Autoroute 999, you Freemasons and all of you ruthless police personnel that are prepared to go with this instead of letting all of your neighbours be free.
Raised by some of the best doctors on the planet that looked at these scientists, so there's no doubt. His first photo is from 1936.
Harry Enfield. Yeah, I'll try and get a picture of him.
The man walking through a zoo in Vienna. He looked so much like Hitler. No one knew if it was really him, or double, or what. So someone took a picture, and it was posted in all the newspapers.
Big lugs, Harry.
Mr. František Hola. He was a Czech.
So we've done that bit, and I've shown you Harry Enfield a couple of times. I'll now get the video of him, and I could maybe even show you that if I've got time. And there's the 14 body doubles of Joseph Stalin searching for the truth. Revealed Hitler in Argentina, and on it goes. And if you can speculate on something like that, like the Russian scientist, the Russian poison team, they are now using the daughter Yulia as the cover for Yulia Tymoshenko and the 3 Tymoshenkos that are on the Forbes rich list. Yeah, that is Yulia is one. The other one is a Russian billionaire, and can you see why they ring all of those news items together? So I think I'll just take it up to somewhere where we've not been before, and we'll keep going. And there are so many lookalikes for him, it's incredible. You can see that without being a professional analyst. And they're still looking at his ears. And let's take it to there, and I'll look for a picture of Harry Enfield to close on.
But Hitler again, so many times that he's escaped that, realized that it was a dangerous place to be. He was an enemy of Europe. But an interesting story nonetheless. Take a look at his toothbrush mustache compared to the other photos of Hitler. The other photos, Hitler's mustache is full. Here, separated into 3 parts. They couldn't connect in a full mustache. So what do you guys think? Is this guy with the broken toothbrush mustache, is it really Hitler? Or is it really a double? I can't tell. Now look at these 2 pictures. At first glance, you would think both of these guys are the same. But take a look at this. Look at the year. The same guy as a Shrek and Von Hindenburg guy. And this guy, well, looks really close to him, but below it looks a little pointier, longer. And inside the ear, crevice or cavern, looks smaller than the other guy. And what do you think? Are they the same? Or could it be just the angle? I have no idea. If you look at these cartoons here, a lot of people in Europe, and some here in the US, in the 1930s and 40s, were wondering the same thing that we are here now. Which one of these guys is the real Hitler? How many doubles does he have? How many doubles have been killed? If you're going to kill one, which one is the real Hitler? If you're going to capture one, which one is the real Hitler? Is he even alive? And this one is 1932. But it doesn't look like the Von Hindenburg Shrek Hitler in 1933. Look at the year on this one. I believe this guy is the same guy as when we just saw the previous 1932 Hitler.
So we're now looking at Chumley Warner, a short film about Mr. Hitler with Harry Enfield in the role.
1934 Hitler we just saw.
Yeah, and let's have the soundtrack on.
Why, it's all the finishing painting for yonks. House, is it? Aye, that's right. What are them things? Them's his windows, you dog nana. You wouldn't join them bits up. There, that's better, ain't it? Why, I dunno. I ain't never not gonna make it as a finishing painter. Why, I'm so poor I ain't enough lolly to launder me own shirts. Look at this, it's nigh on positive bliss. Cheer up, chummy. Someday there might be a market for black shirts and dodgy windows. Too low. 1933, Berlin.
I'm not sure.
All right, gather round, chaps. Glad to see your dodgy windows coming handy, chummy. Well, this is the chummy, Goebbels. It's Führer now. Now here's a map of Europe, what I've drawn.
So do you get it now? That is George VI. Don't do that. And all of those videos, yeah, with Jimmy Hill, that's about the only one that's left on the internet now, because they did not think I would suss that. Yeah? George VI, please do not take us to war for the second time in your lifetime. Yeah, and that is the Rotary Club icon for all the fascists across the world. Yeah, and it is the 3 limbs for Rolf Harris, and it is sadly also the icon for Carlsberg, the beer in Sweden, where the great pagan cull took place, and they were the biggest killers all across Europe, and that is the people that are still Field Marshal Ing, that were the biggest killers in the 30 years war between the Christian denominations and the pagans. Yeah, all of them are executed just as a gesture, a knee-jerk response. Okay?
More like a man with a pipe.
person that raises his hat has the same facial appearance as Prince William. Or maybe it's Prince Andrew. You just have a look at the faces. You will not be allowed to watch this on any of the social media. It will be banned, because all of it is them laughing at the war dead again, like they did at the London Olympics when Mr. Bean on the organ, yeah, was the real Mr. Bean was the war correspondent for Gallipoli, and in the serial killings that meant that the real reporter of the war crimes in Iraq was Mr. and Mrs. So it's Gavin and Stacey are Mr. and Mrs. Shipman, and Tim Shipman was the war correspondent for Iraq. And it is absolutely sickening that they're allowed to do that, and they're allowed to tell me that none of this can be published because the BBC have a copyright for profit on the videos that all of them used to laugh at until an intelligent analyst comes along. And I've not, in this picture, this movie, shown you how big my ears are. Innocent little nose too. I wish I could get Jimmy Hill into the story, but I cannot find his video. Yeah, you don't want to do that, and they're saying it again and again and again. Okay, and let's just see if we can find it. Okay, so there's a search. We don't want to do that. Oh, and there they are.
Well, that goal by Cantona clearly the turning point in the match, but what did our experts think? Only me. Let the ball in the goalkeeper. He wanted to save it so it wouldn't be a goal. He doesn't want to be there where he is. He wants to be there where the ball is. Then he can stop it going past. Jimmy Hill. Well, I agree. No. He certainly doesn't want to let.
So there's the Habsburg chin on Jimmy Hill's jaw. Yeah, and all of that is the naming of the false god that replaces the real one. And I believe that the real one will be the sun god, but there could be other people. Yeah, there is no point in speculating. No human can know. And I don't know whether or not there is an afterlife. And the BBC will know that, yeah, because all of their news is absolutely wobbly, and this is what they stoop to.
Let the ball go into the back of the net, because that is any professional goalkeeper should know. A goal is scored, and he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that. Furthermore, taking the game as a whole, Wimbledon certainly made a very basic football error by allowing Manchester United to score more goals than they did, because that meant that they lost the game. And as a man of your experience will know this, they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to do that. They didn't.
So that is what Joyce Grenfell says, and she is just the earliest cover for the Morgan Grenfell banking group. That's Christopher Reeves was the name of its managing director, its CEO. He was the boss at the Bank of fucking England, and all of them think you lot are absolutely stupid, and that is why they're allowed to get away with it. And the Pizzo police and all of the steals that they do, even at the London Olympics, Lord Condon, yeah, no one is asked to pay the price, other than the taxpayers and the ratepayers, and they're your victims in every war that you create to bankrupt the whole of the world and its participant countries. None of them have an out option except you lot. Donald, dodged the draft for Vietnam at the rank of captain already, which is a joke for him about the Capetan dynasties, many of whom have Habsburg chins, because they're all interbred with each other. So I think we'll just stop there. Oh, Eric Cantona, the French connection. And all of it is covered up. He used to jump across the fence and get the supporters that were chanting at him, right in the chest. Okay, I don't know where it goes after this on the other video, but I think we'll stop with Jimmy Hill's chin. No, we won't. Let's just go see what is at the end of the video, because I want to archive it. It will be taken down now after me making such a fuss on it. Okay, so let's now jump on a bit and see what the topics become. Does it hold the secret of Hitler's body? On and how many pictures do you need?
The other thing you guys have to understand is that the Soviets conquered Berlin. They held Berlin for an entire month before the other allies were permitted to enter. They had access to the evidence, access to the witness, access to everything before anyone else did. A month later, when the other allies were permitted to enter, they found the entire place had been gutted by the Soviets. There was nothing left, pretty much just.
So do you get that? That is the Rothschilds' babies become the world leaders. They become Stalin, they become Hitler, they become dozens of Hitler's body doubles using the prima nocte tricks and all those massive maids from downstairs all across Europe. And for them it's just a piss take, and it's just a massive money stream. And that's why all of these videos are being banned. And I don't know why that's saying 1960, but let's just keep going and get a little bit more of the author of this video's story.
All of our evidence comes from interrogating the Nazis in the bunker and what the Soviets told us.
So do you get George W. Bush being out of Germany by 1937 with Mengele and Bormann? And that is Bormann with one ball and all the art treasures in his galleries. And then they become shared with Shimon Peres's art galleries, and they are massive in Spain and Latin America. And it's been on my website for years and years and years, and no one has ever taken that down, and that's a silly thing to say. That's the Perez family that are the Barbara Pierce relatives of George W. Bush, and that is the Percy Zavanek, and on it goes, and Percy Zavanek is Perseus the poet in Rome.
This picture here is going around the net. I've seen the video and the stills. It says that this guy's name is Gustav Wöhler, but I've never seen a name any of the articles that I read. So I really can't say who this is, but then it's a double. There is a story behind it. Also, you guys have to realize that the Soviets never admitted to having Hitler as a body.
So do you get what they're up to? That is the three wise men that planned the whole war. That is Winston Churchill, who was the real Hitler's cousin. Yeah, that is the cousin of the Queen of... That is the father of the Queen of England and her cousin by the other sires that are Edward VII. And all of it is absolutely sordid. And the Queen is the brother, the half-brother through Winston Churchill being the united parent of Bill Clinton and Princess Margaret. Yeah, because the stammering king, who did not want to do that, take the world to war, was incapable of siring male babies. Yeah, our female babies, all of them died on the gurney with epilepsy.
It was sometime in the mid-60s, late 60s. This is one of the first pictures they produced who they had captured Hitler.
So my new computer is not mine. They've asked me that, they've announced for me that important updates are impending. Yeah, and the computer was sold to me, and all those updates happen even without it being online. Would like an explanation for that if any of you are computer scientists. I'll be prepared to take you out for dinner, but I need to suss you out first. Okay, so we'll just ignore that on the other computer that we're not actually using at this time. Right in the middle of the making of a video which I've used that device on. And everything is now frozen. So, I think we'll just stop there. It's gone far enough, and on it goes. It's the same for Saddam Hussein. I don't know whether or not he's a relative. I've never really heard stories about his genealogy, but President Barack Obama's surname is Hussein. All the usual suspects right through world history, and none of you have the wits to challenge even your local MPs. Shona Robinson, quite tragic that you're prepared to cave in like that. Right then, and I hope to see you in the pub soon. Just a little stanza. We'll drag the slider through in case there's anything important or novel looking that Greg Hallett has not already exposed. So there's Graves and Statements, The Life and Death of Adolf Hitler, published in 1973, and none of it refers to his training in England, all of which was published by Beryl Bainbridge, and that is his training in Liverpool. The Hitlers of Liverpool. Yeah? And there is the mains. I was Hitler's body double. Which one is the real Hitler? Yeah, and on, and none of those ones look like Harry Enfield. Yeah, much more effective than watching the whole show, don't you think? And that is what we spend the world's economic wealth on now. The whole of the cover-up of the whole of the, and that Hitler's corpse found in Berlin. And so do you see the political plot by the three wise men is to demonise Russia as hard as they can as at the same time they murder the Tsars there, they take it over, yeah, and that is way back, yeah, between those two wars that we're talking about, and the Tsars are murdered by communists, yeah, and they become hated, but those communists on the Tsars' new IDs are Tsar Nikolaevich Romanov Rothschild. Yeah, and that's why my videos get banned. Yanks hunting Hitler in Japan mountain hideaway, and it never ends. Yeah, but the banks are in their hands, and that's all that matters, and that is why all of the wars are launched, and all of the countries are bankrupt again and again and again, and you have to reset it again in 2008. Yeah, and that is them stealing the whole of the country's wealth. President Obama, the year you were inaugurated. Yeah, and that's the Obamacare scam run by the man that is Donald Berwick, and that is the cover for the serial killer Breivik, which is the whole of Hitler's life story. Just a diversion from the more powerful money lenders, and the naming of all of these places indicate that that is the Freemasons culling its own children all across the world. Yeah, do you get the Rotary Club icon and the Christian cross and St Andrew's flag and the patron saint that is the patron saint for 19 countries, that is St Andrew, that never ever lived? It's gotten ever so indistinct since I started to drag it along, and we've still got money, we've still got, ooh, that bike thing, what is that? Let's just end off here. So you've got the Cold War means that everybody hates Russia, and that is why Roosevelt died, because he started to rant against Stalin, and all of them planned the whole thing from beginning to end. And the Stalin family are now the analysts for Kaiser Wilhelm's family, and they are the Montefiore's. Yeah, and that was the Dugashvili line that Stalin was in, and that is why Kisa Dugdale resigned within weeks or days of me reporting that, and asked for a meeting with her on YouTube. No, on Skype for Murdoch, and all of a sudden she then becomes a press woman. She is the 7th cousin of David Cameron. Yeah, Dugashvili, Stalin, and Stalin is an Alois Rothschild creation too. Sorry, Alois is used in the middle name for those that are born for greatness, aka the world's greatest dictators. And I don't know how Jimmy Nail got the label, but he's got it. Jimmy, Alois, Bradford, and that is the families that were on the Mayflower.
Warning. Conspiracy theory.
So, more images of maybe Harry Enfield. They've got a whole fucking army of body doubles, and they've got all the world's wealth, and that is the Committee of 300, and possibly some of it is shared with the Committee of 1001. Yeah?
If any of you are interested in finishing this research about which one of these Hitlers He's the real Hitler.
Wingnuts now.
Definitely love to know.
Charlie boy.
That scope is way beyond me. There's just too many.
Lodge number 99. Autoroute 999 to his Hitler's nest in Bavaria. Yeah, and he attended Mrs. Simpson's wedding in the Candy Schloss in Austria.
Also, I've been looking for ways to converse or communicate with you guys better. Because I have a hard time getting to my email. So I finally got on Twitter. For what, 5 years now? Been on. So yeah, hopefully that works out. We will be able to communicate more. Or try to anyway. As far as a question and answer type deal.
Right then, just to remind you who the usual suspects are.
Well, that goal by Catton are clearly the turning point in the match, but what did their experts think?
Only me. Said the morning the goalkeeper, he wanted to save it so it wouldn't be a goal. He doesn't want to be there. Where he is, he wants to be there.
They do that.
He didn't want to do that.
Furthermore, taking the game as a whole, Wimbledon certainly made a very basic football error by allowing.
Okay, just one of Joyce Grenfell, yeah, and the Grenfell Morgan Banking Towers. Yet she used to say, I'll show you what the video is that you need to look up. Oh no, so videos is nursery school on YouTube. If you play that, it's good. It says George, don't do that. Her old time dancing is also on this channel. So there's no way that this video will get published by YouTube. Yeah, that is Joyce Grenfell that you've just seen. That is Harry Enfield and the Habsburg chins for the analysts that are all out of. So he's Jimmy von Hill of Austria. Yeah, and all of the world leaders are from the same Austro-Hungarian syndicate, with the presidents in France and all of the people that become presidents in America. All of them are, like the residual royalties, are descended from Charlemagne. Okay, and let me now show you that the Grenfell Morgan Banking Group is okay, so there's the Morgan Grenfell Bank, which is why the Grenfell Towers were brought down. Yeah, there's my videos on it. There's Miss Grenfell, there's the tower, there's all the truth about the story. Deutsche Morgan Grenfell Group Public Limited Company, Mr. Christopher Reginald Reeves, who became the boss at the Bank of England, and Theresa May did not get that far, that she's just a muppet, like Superman. His real name is Christopher Reeves too, and his family sailed on the Mayflower. He joined Morgan Grenfell in 1968, Group Executive, and there are all the families and all the banks that were created after the Shin when the Bushes went to America. Yeah, so now let me look up Bismarck, and Bismarck is on the board. Yeah, and it cannot get more evil. There's the Morgan Grenfell Bank and the Group PLC. Yeah, and I've still got batteries on my camera. And let's now scan down and see who the characters are. Pride of Lucifer, one of my videos. And so let's now put Bismarck and Fleming. Yeah, and there is ingenious. So that one there is called Sir John Craven, and he was the boss at the Morgan Grenfell Bank too, like Christopher Reeve. Yeah, and Joyce Grenfell is not a banker. Yeah, and Ari in it is just a joke about the Aryan master race that steal the world this way. But this one is John Craven is the cover for Sir John Craven of the Deutsche Bank. Isn't it lovely? I think we'll stop there. And that could take me onto my website, and we'll get some fabulous pictures. Yeah, it does. There's the British Syrian Society, run by Ian Fleming, the Bond author, globalised fraud. There's Sir David Steele, my MP. There's the board members, Lord David Steele of Akewood. There is the Queen of England, yeah, talking to someone, and there is Sir Andrew Fleming Green, which is Ian Fleming, and there is Sir David Alwyn Gore-Booth, yeah, and that is Al Gore and the Gorens in Germany, and in America that is the Gore-Clinton Highway, right, in New Zealand, right down from the top of the South Island to the bottom is the Gore-Clinton Highway, and all of them own the whole world. And there's UK Oil and Gas, yeah, and there is UK Oil and Gas Investments PLC, and on, and this is the people that are now carpet bombing Assad in Syria, because that is where the Piso family came from, yeah, and they went there with King Herod, and that is the bridge from Egypt to Rome that they bridged. And there's another so yeah, and that is the British Syrian Society Limited, G2, and there is more and more and more, and there is Sir Alwyn Gore-Booth, Ian Fleming, the man behind the scams, yeah, there's the demonisation and blasting ruthlessly of all of the Holy Lands and Damascus, because that is the Piso Bible fake, yeah, and there's the Queen of England shaking hands with them before they go and spend a couple of billion on their shopping trips, and there is the Bond fracas, yeah, and the girl next door is, yeah, she's a Connery. Oh no, she's a Connolly. Yeah, and on and on. Fleming family and partners overseas, yeah, and that is them getting out of the River Spree. There's the banking group stuff, and there's the fucking Bismarcks. I think we'll stop there. On the boards are the Bismarcks, and there is where we started, and that is what the Queen's life has been dedicated to, in finishing what the Rothschilds started. And she's a sordid Rothschild bastard too, but none of that matters when the polis are run by the descendants of the first Piso popes and the Holy Roman German emperors, and that is the battles that they fought all over Europe for 1,000 years, Guelph versus Ghibelline. Yeah, and we cannot now smack our babies, and I can be sectioned for telling these stories, yeah, but it's time to change it, Hannah and Nathan Rothschild, yeah, not Lord Jacob. He's set in his ways, and I'd love to see his negotiations at the pearly gates, if he ever gets that far. Right then, time to stop. How to Take Over the World by Greg Hallett. Yeah, and Treasure Islands by Nicholas Shaxson, and that is the havens and the men who stole the world. Yeah, and there is Ian fucking Fleming, who's largely responsible for the template and all the double agencies, right up there. Yeah, with Sean Connery, the traitor. Yeah, the bold and brave people that make the movies. Yeah, and have all the lovers. Yeah, and they can have all of that and much more ambitious. And there is The Last Hours of Bismarck. And there is Ingenious Films' partner. And that is John Craven to chair the Lonro scams. Yeah, that is the BP plant in the Garden of Eden. And the sun's come out. And there's Fleming Family Partners Limited. And there is John Craven, OBE, born 16th of August 1940 in Leeds, which is where the Pisos have a massive Freemasonic link. Okay, and that is all the banking scams that explain the Grenfell Morgan Towers. Lord Robin Rennick of Clifton, Mark Edward Treherne Davis, and Richard Douglas Schuster, all the usual suspects. Mr. Adam Richard Fleming, Mr. Evan Mervyn Davis, possibly the Young rugby player. Yeah, and I cannot see very much more of significance. There's some of the fake companies, and they have had body doubles in the city of Dundee this week. Lord Robin Rennick, J.P. Morgan, and William Waldegrave, who goes right back into Charles I and Charles II's religious wars, Cavalier versus Roundhead, and it has got to stop now. Yeah, it's got to stop. Let's just see if there's any more. Ian Fleming, so you can watch my videos. The spy and corporate profiteer Ian Fleming, decades of frauds and warmongering, and those are minor issues because they've not been taken down, like the war crimes of Zahawi and everything that was the brutalisation of the Holy Lands by him and his predecessor, that is David Cameron, and the Skype networks. Rupert Murdoch, I've got you all pinned. Registered address 204 Woolwich Road, London. And Rupert will not let me now send videos on Skype so that my friends across the world can watch them. And Rupert Murdoch has taken down the biggest hitting videos on his massive frauds against people. And there's Gmail Limited, also in Woolwich. Okay, so I think we can stop now. I would love to have seen the woman Bismarck that's on the boards. Is she depicted? Yeah, but I'm going to stop there because that is what it's all about. Yeah, that's Hitler Rothschild next to his cousin, the Queen of England, on the Piso horse, and that sums it up, really. Yeah, you don't want to do that, Harry Enfield. Yeah, and make the end of your life shameful, laughing at the war dead, and the stammering king who commissioned it, and all of the movies that Hollywood make to try and cover up the real truth about why those wars were fought. Let's not miss Sean Connery's mugshot. Yeah, there they are, all together, usual suspects, all of them billionaires, none of them on the Forbes rich listings. The men who stole the world, Queenie. How to Take Over the World by the now assassinated Greg Hammett.